All right, everybody, here we are again. Next up, it's 1 o'clock at Improvathon, and that can only mean one thing: two exhausted people improvising together. Please welcome to the stage our executive and artistic directors, Butch Roy and Rita Boersma. Woo!
Yay!
What the? No, 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 no,
You
no,
know what
no,
I didn't
no.
get to do at Improvathon this year? Morning break. Morning break. Do,
Oh
do,
boy.
do, 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 morning break. Dan Linden, wherever you are. I have scissors at home too. Boop, 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 boop.
That
Morning
seems like a
break.
not even veiled threat.
No.
Hey, Rita.
Hi, Butch. Here we are.
Oh man, it's 1 o'clock in the afternoon.
It
You know what that means? We only have
Wait.
11 hours left.
Oh, it's so terrible when you say it. It's
11.
so terrible when you say it out loud.
That's long enough to drive past Chicago.
Ugh. And who
If we
wants to
left
do that?
right now, we could be in Chicago before Give to the Max Day ended.
Should we leave right now?
No, we should never go to not
Good,
go to Chicago right now. No,
good point. That's a
under
good
no
point.
circumstances.
I forgot the time we're in.
Yes, it's not. We live in the stand.
Just casually suggesting travel. Whoops.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Oop.
Erp.
For those watching on YouTube, and I'm assuming there's at least two,
Gosh.
when we improvise this thing together, we tell true stories. So it's improvised spoken word. So we asked Brianna to gather suggestions of topics that everyone has a story about, and then we'll just sort of go from there, and things
Yeah.
get stupid.
Well,
Did you sleep, Rita?
listen, I tried between
Oh,
the hours of 4:30 a.m. and 7.
oh.
I'm unsure if I did. I remember too much of those hours. I feel like I didn't.
Hmm.
But maybe I dozed a little. You? Have you
I
slept at
slept.
all?
This is the first improvathon I've ever slept in. I
Oh,
slept for 30 minutes and then for 40 minutes.
okay. Okay. Well, maybe this will be really just sound and
Yeah, just
fine. I won't cry
coherence.
at any point during it.
Oh, no, I mean, listen, if you see my reflection in a snow-covered hill,
Don't
uh,
stop it. Okay, listen. Someone, and now the mystery has been solved if you're out there, but someone whose number was not in my phone texted me landslide at 5 a.m. with just a Spotify link, and I wasn't thinking straight, and I was like, I was saying this to Butch, have I been like Spotify porned by some stranger? And then I thought, I guess I don't know what porn would be on Spotify. You have a question.
um, well, not a question so much as I think the story that you just told proves that you weren't asleep.
Yeah, you're probably right, because that 5 does fall in the hours that I named.
I mean,
So
yeah,
hard to say, but look at my fireplace.
yep,
We're fine.
yep.
Everything's fine.
Um, so excellent. So we're going to be, yeah,
Yeah,
totally linear.
this is going to be
Everything's
great.
fantastic.
Armpits are
Brianna,
ready.
what was our
What is it?
suggestion? Wow, a time that you lost a game or competition that you deserve to win? That's very specific. That seems loaded,
Yeah. Oh no, I'm like, what have I
right?
done
It
to
feels like
someone?
somebody's nemesis is logged in and is like, tell them that story.
I want to hear it. Say it
I
to me
was
one more
there.
time in
A
all its
time that you lost
specificity.
a game or competition that you deserve to win.
Hmm.
Man, is somebody being shitty about the election in our suggestions?
Oh my God, did Trump suggest something for us? Do you think he's watching?
No, he's not watching.
Yeah, you never know. He's on the internet a lot. I don't know if this falls into that category,
I bet it's about to.
but I'm gonna just it in there. I in seventh grade had to do a ropes course with my like seventh grade homeroom. I don't know if you know where it's like teamwork and strength and you can count on each other and yourself. And I, as a middle schooler, was like deeply uncomfortable with the size of my body, like all middle schoolers, just like terrible self-esteem, awful everything. And there was a wall, like we had to climb a wall. And I don't remember there being a rope or anything. Like it was just a big wall, and you had to like figure out as a team, like how to get everybody over it. So all of the like athletic people in my class like could run and jump and like grab the wall and pull themselves over with like just leaping unicorn ease. And I just stayed back because I was like, I've never done a pull up in my life. I have no arm strength. I'm not going to be like those other people who are confident enough to like let someone lift them, because what if my classmates had to lift an elephant, me, over a wall? So I was just like panicked, staying back. And then this isn't fitting because I didn't deserve to win this. It's so sad.
I was positive that you were going to say that you grabbed a smaller classmate and just hurled them way over the wall.
No, I had no arm strength. I could have never done that. I still have no arm strength. But what happened is then I don't know. On stage you can see all my gesturing. With Zoom, I want to get my gestures in the box. Anyway, um, I could not get over the wall. I tried, and then everybody's just very in the like, we can do this together. And if there is something I've learned in my life, like when I am having a hard time, do not fucking encourage me. Like I want you to stay quiet and let me be upset about it and embarrassed and feel like a failure. I don't want you to say encouraging things to me. It only makes me mad. But everybody was encouraging me, and they're like, you can do this. The whole class is over.
It's a
But like
great story. You got this.
Is it terrible? Should I stop?
No, you got this. Keep going. Keep going. You got this.
Okay. So like I remember Eugene Sherman, Jason Mall leaning over the wall, like ready to help pull me over. And then the class's idea was that I stand on the shoulders of Mr. Johnson, our teacher,
No.
because he was the tallest, of course, because we're all middle schoolers. And I can't get out of it. I could have, but I didn't. So I did. But then I was so like nervous and embarrassed about it that I just made myself like turn into dead weight, like which only makes you feel heavier to a person. But it's like maybe he'll feel better if he thinks there's like a dead body standing on his shoulder. So I just like lumbered on his shoulders, and all I can remember is looking down between my feet on his shoulders just to see his like pulsing like red strained bald head trying to hold this dead waiting sad seventh grader up. And I wouldn't pull it. It was a disaster. And honest to God, I am 41 years old and I don't know if I got over the wall. Like I have literally blacked out the end of that story because it was so embarrassing. I remember his red pulsating head, and then I remember the class trying to say encouraging things to me in like a closing circle debrief time that I was mad about. So I don't know what happened in between. Did
You
I
went to a
deserve to win
very
it?
different
I
junior
don't know.
high. Oh my God, your junior high was so different than mine. Like your classmates like cared about one another and encouraged them, and were like,
I don't know that
we're
they
all
cared
in this
about.
together.
We were forced to because that's what the ropes course makes you do, and they just wanted to beat the other groups at the rope. I don't think they cared about me, or they wouldn't have made me stand on Mr. Johnson's shoulders.
Oh man, we never did a ropes course. We had the climbing ropes that just went straight up to the gym ceiling.
Yeah.
Which never seemed safe at all.
No.
Where like, and they would get out the big mats, and then just like people would just see how high they could get up the ropes and then let go and then just fall onto the mats, which is a great thing to test, right? How high can I do it without breaking something? Because there's only one way to answer that. But I did, well, I don't know, this wasn't a, so I had a very different gym class experience. Well, mostly because I hated gym class because I got the shit beat out of me in school all the time for years and years. No. I mean,
Wait.
Yeah, it was horrible.
Okay.
But so yeah, in gym class, of course, is like where they just like, and you know, probably well-meaning, like asshole gym teachers just sort of like slam like, you know, these tiny like physically inept kids together with like kids that are like already playing football,
Yeah.
that also beat the shit out, and you're like, your teammates get in there together, like. And I had gym teacher tell me he was going to make a football player out of me. I was like, yeah, I don't think so. I think I weighed like 80 pounds,
Wow.
and I was getting like, chased down after school and beat up by the
Oh.
football team. So we had, so gym class was in general just horrible, and I would skip it anytime I had the opportunity because they didn't take attendance very well, and we had an open campus area that was it was easy to get out. So we would just leave and then come back and be like, "Yep, I was out there," like whatever. And like they would send track out to run around the neighborhood, so we would just like peel
Yes,
off and go
that's
somewhere
what
else,
we did.
and then just like pick it up at the end, like, "Whoop, good running," whatever. But I remember so vividly. What was it? It was ninth grade. So I had a bunch of friends that lived in a halfway house for criminals, and which meant every once in a while, like a new kid would just suddenly appear, and they'd be like, "I guess I go to your school now," whatever. And that was Bill, this kid named Bill, who was suddenly living there, and we were like, "Hey, great, whatever." And he was in my gym class, and I was in gym class with like 4 different guys that just they just made my life hell. They just terrorized me. And of course, and like they were the they were the ones to like watch out for. Like they were the badass. You figure out like, oh, that kid's fucking violent. Of course, Bill didn't know any of these things. He just like arrived in our gym class one day, and it was the day that we had to play dodgeball, which was always terrible.
Why is that a game?
Yeah. And so we had these 2 guys especially were really, really awful. And because I think it was because they were both really, really short. So they totally had like a complex about it at that age. Like it turns into a thing. One's name was Kelly and the other's name was Troy.
Wow.
And yeah. And basically, I was just like, I was in that mode of like, just keep your head down. Just, oh, fuck, this is going to be terrible. Just play fucking dodgeball. And of course, they were just like, coming for you, whatever. And Bill was just like having none of it, like just walked. And literally it's like they came out and they were like yelling shit at us. And he was like, "These guys always fuck with you like that?" And I was like, "Yeah, that's pretty much that's their deal." And he literally just picked up a ball and walked, because they put you on opposite sides of the gym with the line in the center. Like we would just hang all the way in the back, be like, "I don't want to play this game or get hit with anything." He just picked up a ball and walked straight to the like center line where these 2 dudes were just like being pricks. And one threw a ball at him, and he literally like just blocked it with the ball he was holding. It was just like, ding. And they were like, "Yeah, what are you looking at?" Because he was new. And he hit this kid in the face with the ball so hard it knocked him backwards. It was just like, wham! He was like, there. And like, and at some point they just like, he was being pelted, and he was like, "Yeah." And they're like, "You're out." He's like, "Yeah, I don't care. I'm not playing this game. I'm here to like," and that was when, and he came back to the back line because he was out. And that's all the teacher really cared about. Like he didn't even notice that like a confrontation was happening in the middle of the game, because that's what the game is. So he just came back and he was like, "Fuck that guy." And that was when I learned, that was like the day that I learned the reason why Bill was in the halfway house, because he was a violent juvenile offender.
Oh
And it was having none of it, but it was fantastic. Like what a gift for the rest of my like gym class experience, because holy shit, like, well, A, they like all of their attention was on him, and B, he was having none of it and was like, I grew up in Bloomington. They were wildly unprepared for the level of person that Bill was. Like he was in a halfway house for attacking his mother with an axe.
Why do you always have these stories?
I mean, just anyway. Yeah. So like, and they came after him in the locker room too, of like, "Motherfucker," and literally like there was no, and I don't know, well, you probably don't know this. In junior high, it was always like there was a lot of like, oh yeah, I'm gonna kick your ass, you're dead. There was just a lot of like escalating talking and very little fighting.
Wait, do I not look like I was tough in junior high? Why are you saying? Anyway, carry on. You're right. I led with my junior high story, so you have a sharp picture of what I was like.
Yeah. But yeah, like, so we were changing in the locker room and they like came after him and they were like, mother, and he just stood up and like grabbed one of them by the back of the neck and slammed his head into like not a single syllable. And they were like, oh. I was like, yeah, he's playing on a whole different level than you are. And that was when they were like, yeah, okay, all right, fine. And I made it through. And then eventually I think he was transferred to a different facility. Like Bill was just gone all of a sudden. I was like, oh, that was fun while it lasted.
Wow. So
Anyway.
he helped you win all the competitions you should have won.
Yes.
Yeah.
Something
Yeah.
like that. Yeah, we didn't play any sports. I was like, I'm gonna skip class with you.
When you were talking about gym class, I was trying to my high school gym teacher there was something amiss.
She's a gym
And
teacher.
yeah,
She?
she just made up sports, but she acted like they were played like around the world. Um, and I cannot remember. One just had such a funny name. This is what I've been trying to come up with. I know it was played with some sort of medicine ball, and she was so committed to it. So it's not a great story, but the one thing that I can't forget about her is every day, every gym class day, she would stand by the locker room door with a fake parrot on her shoulder. And she was an older woman. Like, this wasn't like a young, funny, like, I'm doing a bit. Like, she would stand with that, like, stuffed animal parrot on her shoulder and just be like, ah, Captain Borshma. And Borshma, no matter how many times I told her my last name was Borsma, it had no H in it. She'd be like, I got you, Captain Borshma. Captain Borshma, she called me every time. But she'd do a parrot voice and greet all of us as we went into the locker rooms to change for gym. That's weird too, right?
That's deeply strange, yes.
Okay. Many of my high school friends are watching, none of them are, but if you also remember this so that I know I'm not having a strange Coach Noiser fever dream right now, please confirm on
Oh
YouTube.
man. We had a science teacher. I mean, because it's Minnesota, we had I think 4 different Mr. Olsons.
Yeah.
So they were difficult to keep straight, but he was the science teacher and he was just this little he was this weird little like dwarf of a man. But he had a strict policy. If you fell asleep in his class, no one was allowed to wake you up. And if you woke up somebody that was sleeping, you would be docked points. You would get in trouble for waking up somebody that fell asleep in his science class. And like, if somebody fell asleep and he noticed, he would like signal everyone. And you were all directed, and he warned everybody that he would do this, and he absolutely did it. That like when the bell rang, like everyone would quietly stand up and leave the room. And then when the next class came in, he would be at the door waiting for the next class to come in and be like, and people would like file in because nobody, like, he would dock you like 50 points if you woke up
If
the
you
sleeping
woke
person.
up the person, what did he do to the
And
sleeping person?
he let them sleep for as long as they slept. And it happened to me once, not as bad as some people, but so the next class would come in and sit down and the bell would ring and class would start. And whenever your teenage brain finally, like, you know, just be hunched over on your desk, like wake up and there's different people around you than when you fell asleep. And like, and of course, and there's somebody that was supposed to be sitting in your desk that's like sitting in the window seat that's like, thanks. But he would, you know, you'd wake up and he'd be like, yep. And he wouldn't give you a pass to the class that you were late for. He was just like, that's on you, buddy. Like, it's not my job to fucking wake you up and make sure you get like, you can't sleep in my class and I'm going to make sure. So he, like, there was a kid that woke up after school one day. Like the place was just empty and everyone was gone.
Terrifying.
And the lights were off. But yeah, I woke up in the next hour and just like lifted my head and like, sure enough, all the students next to me were like, yeah, it happened to you today. I'm like, fuck. And then you have to like figure out like and like doing that math when you just wake up, like, what time is it? What hour does that mean it is? And like, what day? Because we had a rotating day thing. Like we had the A through E day.
Block scheduling. Mm-hmm.
Oh God. So it was like, what day? It's Tuesday. It's a B day. And what 11:10 means it's what time or what hour while you're asleep and running out and then run into your next class. And everybody like, and half the people in the class just came from your science class with you. They were like, nice.
Wow.
It was the most harmless, but also, God, what a fucking horrible torture.
Yeah. That is really genius. I didn't know that where that was going. Like, was he just being gentle? Like, oh, teenagers are tired. They need to get their sleep. I thought
No.
that's where I thought that story was going to take that turn. So that's actually so terrible and terrifying. Oh my God.
Man. Yeah,
Um,
it sucked.
that is awful. I was wondering if there were other topics. I'd be
Oh, I
curious,
don't
but if
know.
there
Brianna,
aren't
are
any in
there
the
other
chat
topics?
yet, I want to show these tiny cat
Oh,
pajamas.
there are other topics, but you do
Oh,
have cat
good.
pajamas.
I do. I do have a story about cat pajamas.
Cooking fails? Cooking fails.
Cooking fails. Oh, uh, I tried. I tried to make. I'm not a baker. I actually do consider myself a pretty good cook, all things considered, but I'm a really terrible baker because I don't want to measure. I don't want to be told exactly what to do. I don't want to
You
like
don't
keep referencing a
you don't want to be
recipe.
cheered on.
I don't want to be cheered on. Better better Betty Crocker, whatever the name of that cookbook is that I used once with the checker print. You guys know the one.
Amen.
Anyway, I for my kid's first birthday, I was still very in the like I didn't want her to have like a lot of sugar or processed things. Wanted it to be healthy, but I wanted to bake her a cake like for her first
You
birthday.
said
And I
still
was
in. Has that gone away? You're like, fuck it, have sugar.
well, in 2020, it's like here's an iPad and just a bowl of um, brown
Candy corn.
sugar,
Yep.
candy corn. Honestly, so much candy corn. She's really into the candy corn peanut mix.
Oh,
Anyway, it's great. But uh, okay, I still care about her health. Let's anyway. I was concerned about giving her like a cake with artificial like food coloring and like lots of sugar in it. So I was like, I'm gonna make one
sure.
of these, but I still like she hasn't had a lot of sugar. She's only 1 year old. I've never really given her anything, so I'm still gonna try to make this healthy version. So I found like a normal carrot cake recipe, and then just decided that I could figure out all of the substitutions. Like I was like, well, that seems like too much sugar. I'm just gonna put applesauce in instead.
Oh, so you had carrot
And
soup.
no, it was so much worse. And then like I maybe put in an extra egg for protein because I just thought, oh, it's just adding protein. And there were other flour ingredients I had wrong. Um, and in the end, and then I wanted to make it the cute, like a layer cake. And then
Mm-hmm.
I had the decorate. I'm a great crafter, so the cake topper was cute that I made. But the cake was so dense, like it just was a hard, thick, like pudding disc, but like a pudding sponge. I don't know how to describe this. Paul Hollywood would have hated it, but it was so
Like a
firm. She
discus.
like a discus, which was the only event I did in track, by the way. Um,
Huh.
She couldn't even push her tiny little 1 year old chub hands through it to eat it. So when it, like, if you watch the first birthday video, it's just a baby, an adorable baby, just slapping the top of the cake and then licking off the cream cheese frosting, which was also a disaster because I didn't know how to make that either. Uh, and she never like I had to poke my hands into the cake finally so she could try
Oh,
some cake. So that was her first birthday.
oh, that's yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man. I don't know that I have any like spectacular cooking fails. Um, I'm a pretty good cook in the right arena. I was a stir fry cook for many years. I can cook anything in a wok. I feel very, very comfortable with that. Um, and like I can, I can improvise on a grill. They weren't fails so much as so I worked at a Leanne Chin's with all of my friends.
Mm-hmm.
Like eventually we staffed up the entire place, and we were horrible to each other. It wasn't a fail so much as like we would poison one another with just to see like um, and you learn interesting things. Like, so we had
I
like, you know,
bet.
we're working in the kitchen, and you just have fountain soda, so everybody has like their like glass with their cup with their name on it. You just like we just drink Coke all night long because we were teenagers and we worked in the sweaty kitchen. But learned that like the industrial soy sauce like mixes really well with Coca-Cola. Like just goes right in. It didn't have like the oily film on it, and like, you know, a tablespoon or two would make someone vomit their guts out. So we would just poison one another like in the middle of a shift. Like I would have to work extra hard because my friend had to go home throwing up because I put stuff in his
Oh
soda.
my
But we would,
God.
yeah, we would, and like every once in a while, like we would make our own, like our, you know, you make your own cream cheese wontons. Like we'd make like peanut butter wontons or stuff like that. They're really, really
Yes.
good. But you had to do it before your shift. So like you come in, like make them and then put them in the cooler and then cook them on your break. So we would put other stuff like, you know, while we were working, because you also had to make the actual cream cheese wonton. So it was really easy to just like fold up a bunch of, one of my friends put cream cheese and then just rolled in a whole bunch of Tylenol.
Come on.
Which, I mean, he didn't even get, because it doesn't deep fry. So he didn't get far enough to eat it. He just like put this thing in his mouth. He was expecting like peanut butter and got like a mouthful of like crunchy pills and hot cream cheese.
Oh, by the
Yeah,
way,
so not
here's a
cooking
flyer
fails.
for my band, Crunchy Pills and Hot Cream Cheese. We're playing
Oh,
at
thank you.
First Ave when it opens again.
So they weren't fails so much as like premeditated attacks.
Yeah, I mean, I think falls more under that category. When
Yeah.
you said that the Coke syrup, though, I worked in a movie theater in high school, and I was made like floor manager one night and I think, and this, well, you all know how old I am. You can see my sad face. But Titanic was coming out. It's very busy weekend at the theater. And I was like, yeah, no, I've pre-checked concessions. Like everything's fine. We're set to go. Uh, then the rush hits, and we have just lines out the door. And I start hearing on my walkie-talkie, they're like, the soda's out, like the Coke is out, the Coke is out. Somebody's got to change the Coke. And I'm like just running around the theater. And that was already supposed to all be preset because we knew that would happen. It was going to be busy, but I did not really take my managerial duty seriously. But our syrups, I don't know what they were like at Lianchin, but ours were like on a big stacked rack. Like they
Yep.
actually went pretty high into the air. And those, this is just going to loop it back to my arm strength. If we could
Yeah,
just
they're heavy.
all this time. They're heavy. And the
It's a
Coke
heavy
was,
cube of liquid.
yes, the Coke was the top shelf. So I'm just frantically trying to change this because everybody's yelling at me. Walkie-talkie's going crazy. So I think that I can just like, like just hoist it up in one big like motion. But I did that and totally missed the shelf altogether. So I just launched it into the air, and then it came down and burst open, like just sy- Coke syrup everywhere. And I was just like,
Amazing.
and we had one of those swinging doors like you do if you're in
Hmm.
Three's Company or a movie theater in Wisconsin in the 90s. And so my manager hears me scream. So then she comes running back through the swinging door, which hits me, and I slide forward through the syrup. So I'm
Yes.
down, and she comes in. It was like a fucking Three Stooges bit. She comes in down because she just slips right in the syrup down on her back. So then another concessionaire hears my manager yell because she goes down. So she comes
Yes.
back and also slips. So now we're all down on the ground,
Mm.
terribly bruised and just covered in Coca-Cola syrup.
Yay.
And you might not be surprised to hear that I was not floor manager again
Really weird.
after that debacle.
Um, I never worked at a movie theater, but several of my friends did. So we saw a lot of free movies. We would just go sneak in. Or they would just let us into like whatever's playing because we just go hang out. Like when you're at that age where you just go hang out at your friend's job and like
Yeah.
talk to them while they're working.
Yeah.
One time we got kicked out because my friend Audrey let us in. She's like, yeah, you guys can go see, like it was like one of those where it's like a 2-screen movie theater and only one movie is starting at a time. So you only had one choice. She's like, yeah, you can go in, whatever. And we scammed like a big bucket of popcorn and we sat right in the front row. We were just being dicks. Like we were throwing popcorn at each other and like fucking around. we had no idea what was showing because we didn't even look. We were just there to, hang out. And people were just glowering at us. And then finally, like, they called her in, like, people got up and left because the movie had started and we weren't really paying attention. We were still throwing popcorn at each other. And like, my friend Rob would like do the thing where like take the soda straw out and like drip soda on the back of
Yeah.
your neck,
Oh,
like just being
Rob.
assholes. We didn't realize we were sitting in Schindler's List.
No.
Yeah.
Oh no.
They were so unhappy with us. Yeah, so we were ejected from that movie. We're like,
Immediately.
yeah,
Yes.
yeah, of course. Yeah, people, all these like very stern-faced people, like just giving us the like, how could you? And we're like, what? We didn't even, because we had no idea what the movie was. We hadn't watched one frame of it. So we had no idea like how offensive we were being. We were just like, whatever.
Just being in there.
Yeah, we'll go to the next room and watch Judge Dredd. Fuck you. Oh, it was so awful. And then another friend of ours worked at a movie theater where, and I've told the story on stage before. She let us get up on the roof because that was where they kept the shed with all the letters for the marquee.
Yeah.
It's a theater that doesn't exist anymore. It was on 494 and Penn Avenue, so it faced 494. So it was really big, busy. It was a giant white building. But to get to the roof, you had to go through the projection booth. And she was like, Dick is in the projection booth, but don't worry, he's completely deaf. And he was this old guy who's a union projectionist, and he sat right in, but it was a one-screen movie theater. So he sat right in between the two giant projectors reading the newspaper and was just deaf as a stone. And in this tiny, tiny little room, like you had to like hold your back along the wall and like sneak. And you could like, if I reached out this far, I would have my hand on the back of Dick's head. And he didn't notice that we came in. So we like snuck through the projection booth while Virtuosity was playing. And then out onto the roof where they had this shed full of letters. And so we had to like reach down with the stick and everything. And we took all the letters off the marquee and spelled out "Nazis ate my puppy." And then I had a camera in my truck. So then we went down and like took photos of it, and I went back up, and there was another level of marquee that faced the highway, but it was like up. They had an extension ladder on the roof. You had to climb up this extension ladder to get up to the marquee that actually faced 494. So we're going to climb up it. And my friend Gabe went up at first. I was holding the ladder. He goes to climb up it, and it unlocked, and it slid down like 2 rungs, like it was just gonna collapse. But it stopped because his hand was inside the rung. So
please end this story. Stop telling it right now.
He was standing on his own hand.
I can't hear it anymore. I'm taking these out. I don't.
And he was, oh, okay, that's fine. And he was like, hold the ladder. And I was like, I am holding the ladder. And I was like holding the ladder, but he's like, hold the ladder. I was like, I am holding the ladder. What are you doing? And then I realized like so I had to run around inside the ladder and lift it up, at which point his hand had burst from like lower down in his hand all the way up through his pinky. It split from the pressure it was under. And when I lifted up, it just sprayed blood on the white building.
Oh God, I came back in at the wrong time.
Yeah, you really did. So then the ladder goes falling down. Blood hits me. It should have left a person-shaped outline on this white building of just like blood and then hole. But it was a lot of fucking blood. And he was literally spraying it in a mist because his hand had literally burst open from the pressure it was under. But then we ran screaming back through the projection booth. And it's up a ladder that is like belongs on a submarine, like where you have to like slide down the rungs. Like it's just straight up. So we ran through the projection booth, spraying blood everywhere, slid down the thing. And Southtown Theater had one of those big lobbies with a big crystal, like weird fake chandelier things and carpet everywhere. So he's just gushing blood and it's soaking into the carpet. And my friend Carla, who was like at the host stand, like sees us running and like probably heard us a mile away, like come running out of the projection booth stairwell. And like all we heard her say was like, "What did you do? What did you do? What did you do?" And we were out the door and then to the hospital. Yeah, so there was a giant blood stain on the side of the building for a while. You could see it for a good long time because it was just bright white building. We were never allowed up there again. They demolished the building eventually.
God, well, thank goodness.
Not because of us.
Well, you can't be sure of that.
Not entirely. She moved away and actually mailed me the keys to the theater. well, and was like, here you go. And basically was like, here, break into my old job. And I was like, yeah, fuck yeah, I will do that. And we took the keys like that day. I went to work, we got off work because we all worked at Lee and Chin's together. And we drove over to the movie theater and it was a pile of rubble. They literally demolished it that day.
Wow. Probably to
Like,
get
well,
rid of your
never
blood
mind.
ghosts. Oh my God. Oof.
Maybe. Anyway,
I don't
you know
have a
how it
story
goes.
like that. I, mhm.
You
Cat
probably
pajamas.
shouldn't. Cat pajamas.
Mhm.
Well, we're over time. Should we let
Oh,
Jill do her
yeah.
thing? Oh,
Yeah.
unless do you have a thing?
No, this is great. I'm eternally traumatized, so that should zoom me right through to midnight.
Perfect. Yeah. I mean, that's once a
It was
year.
worse to not hear you tell it. It was worse to watch you gesture it, knowing, yeah.
Yeah.
I wish you would have done more of this and less of this.
Oh man. The follow-up was, and I tell this story all the time
No.
because we had to take him to the hospital and he had to go to the ER and get his hand stitched up and they took x-rays and all these things.
Mhm.
And they drugged him out of his mind. So he was sitting there and they finally got around to him and the guy's stitching up his hand and he's looking at the doctor like with his little hand on a little stool that they put it on when they're
Mhm.
stitching it, and he looks at him with these like big forlorn eyes and he's like, am I going to be able to play the violin after this? And the doctor just like locked eyes with him for like a solid like 30 seconds. Like he was really weighing it. And he was like, could you before? And they're like, nice try. Asshole.
So good doctor.
Yeah. It was like, no,
Yay.
I'm not walking into this one. You seem like one of those guys.
Yeah, you did this in a ladder on a movie theater building top where you shouldn't have been putting Nazis Ate My Puppy up, so you don't play the violin.
Yeah, no. That's there are context clues. Not a virtuoso violin player.
Yay!
Yay!
We did
I think that's us.
it! Woo!
You did
We
it!
did it, Jill!
Jill's here.
Hi,
Congratulations
Jill.
for doing it!
Thank you so much.
Hi!
Hi.
Hi.
All
I was
right.
That
telling
was
Rita
great.
before
That was
before the
marvelous.
set, I hope her kid wears those sunglasses at night and just walks around the house
She brought
and
them on
stands at the foot of your bed.
to put on the cat along with the cat pajamas.
Okay.
So my first year birthday cake really set her off right. She's a normal kid.
Sweet.
Yeah,
So,
she's fine.
is this more Jill's traveling duo?
Yeah, look, it's Jada. They're here.
Yay!
It's Jada.
Yay, Jada! Take it
Jay
away,
and
Jill
Jay.
and Jada.
Yay!
Thank you. Thank you. Hi. Hi. This is my friend Jada. We've done improv together in a lot of contexts, like Bad Poets Society and Toaster, and we sometimes teach together, that kind of thing. Hey, Rita and Butch, are you still there?
I am.
Rita, was there anything from your set that we didn't hear enough about? Like a suggestion for us that you didn't get to tap into?
Ooh.
No hand wounds, but
Yeah, no hand wounds.
maybe violins.
Yeah, I was just gonna say something musical. We didn't get to go on that realm.
Yeah. Something that, yeah, because that violin, what if of it? What if you do play violin? Okay.
Yeah.
Yay. Awesome. Is the screen look okay? I only have myself as this small, but am I the big? Okay. Hi Jada, how you doing? I'm doing so well. How are you, Jill? I'm okay. Wow, I've seen about violins. Okay.
We're just jumping right into
Yeah,
it.
we.
Okay.
Did you want to do a warm up?
I don't.
Oh, that was a quality warm up. That's quality warm up. I'm afraid this violin would have been worth as much as your grandmother said it was, except for this scratch.
This isn't worth what Mama Ma said it would be worth. That was my inheritance. I was counting on.
No, but it's still worth a lot. Well, not anymore. I mean, it was.
I'm sorry. I was just filled with violence.
Look at this. Look what was inside the violin.
Oh my god.
Is this what I think it is?
It's a Pokeball.
It had to be. It has to be the first Pokeball.
Oh, me, Mama. I knew you wouldn't let me down like this.
It must be a very old Pokemon inside.
All right.
I don't know if you should shake it. Shake it so.
All right. I'm not really sure how this works. I'm just gonna throw it at the ground and hope something happens.
Yeah.
All right. I'll put it on the remains of the violin.
Yes. Stanislavski.
Oh my gosh, it's so nice to meet you, Stanislavski.
Stanislavski.
Okay. So oh my god. Stanislavski. That just made me cry inside. It wasn't about the violin. It wasn't about my inheritance. It was just about the music. Give me a second while I figure out how to hold this. Okay. I don't need to see. I just need to feel.
Yeah, that was a beautiful scene. Well, very moving.
Yay! So moving.
Thank you, Jada.
Oh, so good.
Well, that was serious.
Yay.
The glasses are going crazy. The glasses are going crazy. Oh, thank
I
you,
love
Jada.
it.
Thank you, Dad.
Thank you,
Thank you,
UPS
Jada.
driver.
Everyone
Look,
that's
it's
watching.
UPS. Brought to you by UPS. Oh,
Thank you, UPS, FedEx.
FedEx.
Yay.
Oh, there's some Packer fans, neighbors. It's all happening here. Thank
Really
you,
a time.
Jada.
Yay.
I'll throw it back to you.
Thanks, Jill.
I'll throw it back to you in the live studio.
Live studio coming at you. Bye. Another
Bye.
installment of the amazing Jill Bernard's traveling duos. She's been driving all over Minneapolis, doing just random outdoor scenes for the viewing pleasure of us at home on our computers, but also any neighbor surrounding any of our amazing improvisers who have participated. We are almost to 2 o'clock, which means there's still 10 hours remaining of our improvathon. You can go ahead and do the math of how many hours we've done so far in the chat. My brain is not capable at this time. Just a little update. If you haven't been watching, we are over halfway to our $50,000 goal. We surpassed that. We had an amazing power hour where we got, I don't have the exact number, but over 100 donations, I think, in that hour. That almost took us to the top of that leaderboard in that power hour, which is truly amazing. So thank you to everybody who is donating and trying to get us those golden tickets and all of the other fun things that GiveMN has to offer on this Give to the Max day. We're so appreciative. I cannot believe the outpouring of generosity. This is worth, I'm going to cry just for the rest of the night now. We're just so grateful to everyone who has rallied behind this theater since we've had to shutter our doors in March, like so many theaters and arts organizations all around the world. And Huge is so important to everybody who, of course, works there, but so important to this community and affects so many people. So thank you to everyone who is helping us stay strong so that we can come back even stronger when it is safe to do so. We're going to take just a short kind of break here as we reset a few things. So the next stream will start up at 2 o'clock. So stand up, maybe do some more of Divya's dance moves. If you were watching him before, stretch out, drink some water, grab a snack. Think about these cat pajamas because they really are so cute. It's Christmas theme. My whole family has ones that match. That's for another day. Anyway, thank you so much. We will see you back here, Huge Theater YouTube channel at 2 p.m. Bye.